What's good in the hood, YouTube? Bringing you another video. Today I'm bringing you a video on Power Rangers Dino Supercharged Episode 10. As many who know, Episode 10 came out a few days ago. Again, not ideal that I'm posting these episodes later. Next week I think I'll be able to fix it so that I get them out at least on Sunday, if I have to Monday from now on. Eventually I do want to post them on time, like I used to always do, but due to the fact that right now I don't have an actual TV on me and I'm watching things online, it's just convenience. I am going to look into what I need to get done in order to get it at least posted for like Sunday or Monday if I'm lucky. But, you know, fingers crossed obviously with everything. Eventually I am getting a TV in the next 2 weeks or so that should fix things. By episode 12 or 13, I would think that everything should be pretty good as far as timing goes. I would hope. I'm leaning towards that being a thing. At least I'm really hoping so. Anyway, this episode is called Gone with the Fish, and it's an interesting episode. It's an episode that's very important for the overall show. What happens is that we get to see Matt, Riley's brother, in this episode, which we haven't seen him in ages. People have obviously come up with their own theories that like maybe he would be the Silver Ranger. Well, there's some sort of thing here that kind of makes that theory come across a little bit more likely, even though it's probably not going to happen due to the fact that we've seen him in this episode. But let's get into that though. So the episode starts off with the Rangers fishing with Riley's brother Matt, and the thing is that Riley is very competitive. He wants to have fun, but he wants to have it in a competitive way. He wants to be able to catch fish and measure them out and see who has the biggest catch, while Matt's more about like, no, this is more serious. I just want to, just do this. I'm not here to have fun like that. I'm trying to be adult, mature, and all that stuff. And he's a little too serious. So the thing is that, Riley's not appreciated in that same way, and he's taking a lot of control of Riley. So, Matt's not very happy with it. And so that's when suddenly you have situations with, Matt, you have the others trying to catch fish, and you have Coda, who's like amazing at catching fish, Chase, who's not that good at all, but like Riley's pretty decent, and all this is happening. Tyler and I believe it was it's not Chase, I'm forgetting who it is. Tyler decided not to go with Miss Morgan. I'm just trying to think if there was someone else that wasn't with him. No, because Riley was there and so was Chase. Okay, yeah. Anyway, all this is happening, and they see pictures and stuff like that. Oh, that's who it was. He was with Ivan. That's right, Ivan and Tyler decided to not go fishing, but we're amazed by the pictures and everything, and like at the same time Ivan's like, oh, back in my day you were able to see fish that could eat whole boats and all that. So that's how he acts, of course, because he's supposed to be from the past, so they always try to bring that up in some way. Then as things go on, they end up getting a message that they end up seeing on some computer images, because they're trying to find the Titano Zord and the Titano Energy and all that. They end up seeing through some satellite images that apparently some object that's small is coming into the earth. When they go to look and see what it is, they end up finding it near Amber Beach or whatever. And no, actually, they end up seeing it. Yeah, it's near there, and they find it in the forest. And I'm talking about Miss Morgan, Ivan, Tyler, and not only that, but also Mr. Naverio, Tyler's father, and also Prince Philip. So those five, which are actors that we haven't really seen all of them together, very cool, get to morph, actually get to fight against Singe, Fury, Wrench, and a few others that are big deal monsters. So it's a really cool sequence, seeing Singe again, and also seeing just the special the extra Rangers with Tyler. Pretty cool. So they end up fighting. They end up getting the message pod, which they actually see beforehand, which we get to hear the Silver Ranger's voice. Now, thing is that he is the Silver Ranger, but that still means, although it's probably gonna still be the same way, we don't know what's gonna happen. So we'll have to wait and see where things go with that. He has an interesting voice, definitely. I'm curious about how things will progress. I'm not someone that knows how things are going to progress, because I haven't looked into the spoilers for future episodes in countries like France and other areas where they get these episodes early. Like apparently they're already like 18 or 19 episodes in, which is crazy compared to us where we're only 10 episodes in. So there is that difference in knowledge, but you get my point. And that's part of the reason why I really don't aim to look at spoilers, just because I'd rather not ruin things for myself, and also because the majority of people that watch the show are in America, and it's not something that really is necessary for us. Anyway, all this ends up happening. They end up trying to hear the message of basically saying like where the Zord is, but the thing is that it gets destroyed by Singe. They end up fighting the monsters and all that. Eventually, they go back to the base, and then what happens is that Riley's brother Matt decides to go on his own. When he decides to go on his own, Matt ends up going on a fishing boat, and you end up seeing the new monster for the episode. And by the way, in this episode we get to see Snide. We hadn't seen Snide in quite some time, so it was nice to see Snide take part in this episode alongside Singe, who hasn't shown up in a while as well, and also Fury all together. Pretty cool seeing that interaction for once. So then they end up summoning the monster, which is Hookbeard, who is a fisherman monster, and he's pretty key for the episode. So the thing is that they end up going out and they're trying to look for whatever fell into the ocean in Amber Beach. Well, the thing is that Hookbeard ends up using his electric fishing rod to injure Matt and drop him into the water. Matt ends up falling actually inside of the Titanosaur, so it's pretty crazy. And the thing is that that's where the connection is with like that whole entire theory, like maybe he has some connection. Does that mean that he's actually going to become it? Probably not, obviously, unless they decide to like have the situation where it's like, oh, he has no power and so he has to give off his power to Matt. Does that mean that it will happen? Personally, I don't know for a fact. And for those that know, don't put it in the comments, because that's leaving spoilers for people who are like me and don't want those kind of spoilers and don't want that information and are just looking at it as, oh, I'm hoping or I'm thinking, you know what I mean? If it is, great. If it isn't, okay. Not something I need to know right now. I'd rather find out. Personally, I think that spoilers are just not worth it. But yeah, like summaries and stuff, I don't mind. But like giving away specific details like that, don't do it. Don't tell me that right now, because I'd rather not be spoiled in that way. Because I prefer to see things progress and see them actually happen. I've already been spoiled about something that's going to happen from another video I did, and I'm not happy about that now. So please understand, I don't want spoilers in this one. Anyway, all this happens. Eventually, they end up figuring out that like he ends up falling in there, and his phone still works, Matt. So Matt ends up calling up Riley. He says he ends up sending him a picture of the symbol, which is the Titanosaur's symbol, and they end up figuring out that's where it's been. It's been in Amber Beach itself. So at that point, the other Rangers know that they have to go to the Amber Beach, go help out with the fight with the monsters, and also save Matt. So they end up fighting Hookbeard, Singe, Fury, all these monsters and all that. And at the same time, all this is happening, and Hookbeard's trying to catch the Titanosaur and trying to deal with all that stuff. So all this is happening. Eventually, you even see Keeper, who comes into the mix of this battle, and Keeper ends up dealing with Singe, I believe it was, I believe it was Fury actually. No, sorry, yes, Fury. They end up fighting Fury, and the thing is that Fury ends up disappearing at that point. So then what happens is that the others end up dealing with dealing with all the other enemies. They end up using the Dino X Charger and the Dino Victory Charger together to attack the monster, which is good. And then we end up seeing they end up destroying Hookbeard. Then Hookbeard gets big. The other thing is that when Keeper comes into the fray, not only is he there, but also what ends up happening with him, due to the fact that he is there, he ends up telling the Rangers to cast aside their chargers so that it can go into the Titanosaur, so that it can be reactivated completely and they can take control of it. So they end up doing that. They end up inserting all their chargers into it, and that gives it life, and eventually it just wakes up, and then they end up fighting it in the Titanosaur, and using the Titano Megazord against Hookbeard and destroying Hookbeard, which is very, very cool. Tyler does get to use the Super Drive mode, which is cool, with the sword and all that, so that is something important to note. And then they end up defeating Hookbeard. overall, interesting episode. Definitely different from what they did in America, because there was the focus more on the, the different, the gems or whatever, or like the little rocks that they focus more on in Japan. But still a cool episode as a whole, just different. Similar, but definitely there were some differences that were much more significant in this compared to what they did in Japan, which is good. I actually like the fact that they decided to be original, and just in general, it was cool to just see a lot of characters that we hadn't seen together in one episode, and also just see all these characters together. Like, it's just so crazy, because I mean, there's so many monsters there that, Singe we had with like Fury and Snide, like that's pretty cool, and just seeing some of those monsters. Also, like, seeing all eight, like seeing those, almost all those Rangers, and then eventually just a general idea. Then, by the way, I forgot to mention at the end, Riley gets to see his brother finally. They end up talking and all that, and it's just nice to see that. But I mean, 9 of them work together, but like when the Zord happens, only 8 of them, because Riley's talking to Matt and all that. So like there's a conversation of like no hard feelings. I hope we can be friends. I hope we can be friendly to each other. We're brothers. We should be nice to each other. We should be loving. So there is that kind of interaction that happens at the end. Overall, it's just a really awesome episode, and it's great to know that like we got to see all these actors together. And I'm looking forward to eventually seeing the Silver Ranger in the show, and just seeing how that character adds to the mix. I'm also curious to see how things will just go in general. I mean, I'm loving this. Also, the other thing is that I forgot to mention at the end of the episode, Singe ends up being like spoken to by Heckle, and Heckle ends up saying like, how do you know this information about the Zord and all that other stuff? And the thing is that he, rather than telling him, he attacks and all that, and that gives him the clue that it's like, he tells Fury, if you see Singe again, destroy him. And Fury's like more than happy, because Fury hates Singe. So yeah, for those that don't already have a pretty good idea who it is, I don't know if I want to spoil it. I kind of do, just because it's like something that people have already pretty much gotten the knowledge of, and that is like Lord Arcanian is the one that most people were expecting to be his master. That or Sledge. It's still up in the air, and Sledge is supposed to return, by the way. So yes, Sledge will return. It's just, as of now, Heckle still is in power, with Snide being as a part of him. So it is going to be interesting to see how the story progresses. Again, I do not want to spoilers in this. I just was speaking to someone recently who had already seen it from where they were about certain episodes, and I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of a worry of mine. I'm not saying that it's a problem, but it's something that plenty of people aren't going to want to necessarily see a spoiler, and that includes myself, because I almost always check the comments, no matter what the video is. As long as I see a comment, I'm always interested to know what it is, even if it's something that means absolutely nothing to me. I still care. So please leave your comments, but make sure that you're not putting in any spoilers for people who actually want to watch these episodes. If you have theories, though, cool, and think about it that way. But if you're someone that knows stuff, don't spoil it for others. So keyword there. Anyway, I'm Crazy Samurai 71. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my my Facebook page, which is the same name as this. My Instagram, and also my Twitter, as well as my the YouTube channel itself. All that stuff, can be found on my channel, as well as just in general looking up whatever the site is and putting in the name of the channel, because I use the same thing throughout, just because I'd rather connect it. So please leave your comments below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, guys, I'm Crazy Samurai 71, and goodbye, guys.